What if I told you it's not what you're doing once in a while that's holding you back? It's what you're doing every single day without even thinking about it. The little decisions, the habits you've stopped noticing because they've been in you so long. The way you talk to yourself when nobody is listening. Today, I'm sharing 8 reminders that you need someone to say directly to your face. There's a particular word that I keep hearing so often when I talk to young women, and that word is exhaustion. You've been carrying too much, you've been thinking too much, you've been worrying too much, and now you are tired, which comes from taking care of everyone else while trying to be okay to everyone. I think is the tiredness of becoming someone you didn't choose to become. Maybe you were not ready for that even though you thought you were ready. You gave things up, you gave up on your job to move to your husband's place. You gave up on your neighborhood. You gave up on your friends who you met often. And somewhere along the way, you started measuring your worth by how well you blend into everyone else's needs. And here's the thing, we were taught this. We watched our mothers do it. We watched our grandmothers do it to put everyone else first. And they said, ask for nothing and call it love. And there's nothing wrong with putting the people you love first. I'm not telling you to stop caring for your family, but I want you to ask. I want to ask you something very honest. How much further can you go on that? How far does put others first actually stretch before there is no you left to do the putting? Nobody ever told us where that line was. We kept going on and on until we stopped recognizing ourselves anymore. The standard was never written down anywhere. No one gave you a manual on your wedding day and said, here, this is what you have to become. But somehow you absorbed it from the women who raised you, who were doing their best with what they knew. And now you're running your whole life by it, and it is wearing you down. So let me share a lesson with you that I personally have to keep on relearning. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to have everything figured out to take better care of yourself. So say that back to yourself if you need to. You don't have to prove you are still useful to deserve it. Rest is not a reward for the most productive wife in the world. It's a requirement. That's it. You cannot bloom on borrowed energy, and you've been borrowing it for too long. So today, I have 8 simple reminders that will hold you up when your mind starts spinning and you cannot even find your footing or your name in the middle of everyone else. So first reminder, your daily routine is either building you or draining you. There's no neutral ground. The things you do every single morning without thinking, do they set you up or do they send you straight into reaction mode? Most young wives I talk to have no morning that belongs to them. They wake up and immediately begin responding to messages, to needs, to someone else's agendas, and then they wonder why they feel like what they are doing is mundane and they're always tired, even before the day has even started. I'm not telling you to carve out an hour the first day itself. What you need is just 10 minutes. That's completely yours. 10 minutes before the world gets to you. That's where the shift begins, because now these 10 minutes are entirely yours. Second reminder, the thoughts you repeat become the beliefs you live by. The story you tell yourself about who you are now, whether you are capable or not, worthy or not. I know what's happening every time you talk yourself out of something before you even tried. Every time you apologize for wanting something that isn't for the household, every time you decide it's too late or too selfish or that version of you doesn't get to exist anymore, you didn't write that story on purpose, but you are the one keeping it alive and you're the one who can stop it. Third one, you are not less valuable than the woman you were before you gave things up. Let me ask you something. When did you last do something just because it reminded you of who you were before all of this? I'm not asking you about how productive you were for your house. and not something that you did for anyone else. What did you do? Something that was entirely and purely for yourself. If the answer does not come immediately, that tells you that it's time to look at yourself. And the fourth one, the woman you are comparing yourself to isn't other people. It's who you used to be. And the comparison is not fair either. Every time you measure today's version of you against a woman who had a career, a paycheck, a name people used before you became someone else's wife, you're using that evidence from a completely different season to convict yourself to the current one. That's not growth. Earlier, you had different circumstances, you had different demands. It was a different chapter. But it doesn't mean you're behind or less than who you were. You are further into a story you haven't started yet. Fifth one, peace is not something that happens to you when life finally gets quiet. Peace is something when you practice while it's still loud all around you. If you're waiting for the noise to settle down before you allow yourself to feel okay, you will end up waiting forever. The house doesn't settle. The needs don't settle. The peace has to come from inside all that noise, not after it. And like any discipline, you build it one decision at a time. Sixth reminder, the version of strength that has you holding everything together at the cost of yourself is not strength. That's just fear. Real strength knows when to put something down. Real strength asks for help. Real strength says, this is too much and I'm not going to pretend otherwise, just to look like I'm handling everything easily. You have been confusing endurance with strength for a long time and it has cost you. You know it has. And the seventh one, I need to tell you a story because I lived it. Early in my marriage, I came across a book called Miracle Morning. When I read it, when I understood what it was saying about how disciplined, successful people started their day, waking up early, praying, moving their body, setting their mind, I felt something land in me. Because my faith tells me the same thing. God is a God of order. God is a God of discipline. This wasn't new information. But seeing it in that book made it real in a different way. And do you know what my first thought was? It was not, I need to start doing this. My first thought was, my husband needs to read this book. My husband needs to hear this. Every time I kept learning, I wanted to share it with him so that he would change. I was so focused, the fact that he wasn't waking up early, that he wasn't praying the way I thought he should be. He wasn't working out. And I thought, if I could just get him to see this, things would be different. I was finding his faults. In my head, I thought I was doing him a favor and helping him. My mentor sat me down and told me something I did not want to hear. She said, Annie, you work on yourself, not others. And this hit me hard because it felt like an echo, because this was something I had read my whole life, but I never applied this. I remembered Jesus teaching to remove the log from your own eye before you try to remove the speck from someone else's eye. That was a moment it completely flipped for me. I stopped watching my husband. Instead, I started watching myself. I started applying what I was learning to myself. And that's when things actually changed in me. Actually, I was the only place, I was the only one I ever had direct access to. That's where the real change begins. Eighth reminder, you do not have to have it all together to start. You just have to start. This is what I discovered. If it feels like it's taking longer than you thought it would, it's bigger than you think. What you're doing right now, where you're rebuilding yourself, the person you are becoming apart from being a wife and a mother, is never going to happen in a weekend. The right moment is not coming. There is no version of your life where everything is lined up perfectly. You feel completely ready and nothing is standing in the way. That version does not exist. What exists today is right now. The decision you make right now about whether you take one small step forward or you wait one more week for a better time, that's not going to come. Your job is to take the first step and the next and the next and the next. That's all. So here are all the 8 reminders once again. Your daily habits are either building you or draining you. The thoughts you repeat become the beliefs you live by. You're not less valuable than the woman you were before you gave things up. The woman you are really comparing yourself to is you yourself, not anyone else. Peace is a practice, not a destination. Endurance is not strength. Work on yourself, not others. And you do not have to have it all together to start. I want to hear from you. Of these 8, which one do you think felt it was for you? Tell me in the comments. And also comment I choose myself below as a promise to yourself. Do me a favor, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you. I'll see you soon and love ya.